Hey guys, this is Colonial with turn 15, and I'm hoping to get a bit of a window here without in between the heavy expansion and the first war, which apparently isn't that common these days, but in this particular game people seem to be a bit down with it. I think everyone's a bit scared, not knowing what to do. So I was worried the Pangea would jump me after a bump last turn, but he has not done that. He instead seems to have pulled back from the front. So that's excellent news for me in the short term. So this turn will be one of a few turns, maybe this entire episode, of more or less pacing myself a bit more than you might expect in 2022. So I found my first site, and it is an air gem. So now I'm up to 3 air gems per turn, which is wonderful. And I'm going to keep bouncing around exploring. I've also claimed the throne. If you look over here, there were 4 thrones claimed this turn, including myself and another level 2 throne, so I'm tied for first place at grabbing a level 2 throne. I've also had this fun event where it's part of a mod that if you take over Amorian lands, the population will slowly grow back, but my swamp was scrawny enough that it had that event fire off anyway. I saw a battle of the Amorians, but it's not that exciting an affair, so I don't think I'll show it to you. I apologize if you want to see such things, but it's just he got attacked by barbs. He didn't have any bless. He just had a big lump of legionaries beat up on some barbs. So this fort is very much online and producing, which is good news. And what I'm planning to do with it in the short term is start piling up a big army on the fort that is going to eventually need to be cracked. And that army can crack the fort and also be ready to move when war comes. So I'll be like building up a big army for war. And I will do it by standing them all on my fort. So that's cool. And over here I have finished up my final, what should be my final expansion force. And they will move out. And I'm bringing my new identical but not blind elder to site search the place, and I was a bit over 40 troops, so he can begin with helping with that. This fort comes online this turn. It is going to be dedicated for non-mages, I believe, and right now I'm going to pump out a bunch of little guys. In fact, I think do this. Bam. One problem is I do not in fact have enough gold for everything I want to do this turn, but I'm very close. If I'd gotten my throne income this turn, the 200 gold from that throne did not seem to have gone off, so if I'd gotten that I would have had enough. But I can make it happen if I turn off these. The other big deal that I should mention, which is one of the reasons for the mess up of gold, is that these guys, I hadn't realized, are recruitment points 1. So I'll be getting a Crystal Priestess with a 55% chance of being a wizard every turn, which is major. And this one's an air one, which is going to be lovely for doing little air stuff. Sending her up here to possibly build the lab. This guy is going to build... No, she would build the temple, he's building the lab. And the god can site search in time, and then next turn I'll have her forge me a dwarven hammer. So it's not that complicated, the turn. I don't need to waste your time forever, but I'm shifting over to these guys who are stealthy and are going to be a big part of the future in terms of a war. But what I've decided to do is later on I'll be doing Raven Guard alongside a bunch of Iron Hail archers who can kind of... They're hard to recruit very much of, so I can build up a pile of them. They can defend my fort, maybe later on get teleported around. But I don't have the money for such things, so I'm not doing that right now. And in fact that 90 is also going to be much needed over here. What was I doing here? I think I bought these guys. Yeah. In fact, yeah. That makes sense. That's a low number of guys, but I'm a bit tight on the gold. The next turn I have 2 more 100 coming from my throne, and this province should be mine. So that'll be one expansion this turn, and I'm quite confident that no one's going to surprisingly jump me here for a minute. I think I'm a bit of a scare. I think having wings is a bit scary on this map, so everyone's leaving me a bit alone. I have an NMP now with these guys, but part of the deal was they're going to give me this particular province. So yeah, that's this turn. I'll see you guys in a second. Ciao. Hey, let me just jump in with a couple of more things I think are worth mentioning. For one thing, my scouting down to the south here has discovered that while my neighbor is the Happy Human Airmore, he borders with the Pop Kill Scary Airmore to his south. So I might want to somehow support that guy because I don't really want to border Airmore ever myself. So that's a bit of a dangerous situation. And the other thing I wanted to do is, now that I have construction 2, I'm doing some construction. And what I'm really constructing this turn is a bunch of stuff for trade. So I am producing a water breathing ring and 2 rings of levitation. And those are all going out to other people. Then next turn I'll grab a few things for myself. As you can see here. Ciao. Hey guys, this is Colonial with turn 16. And I'm still in the in-between spot between expansion and my first war. And I have a tendency to lie around in this in-between spot without moving quickly enough. So I would like to make sure I move pretty quickly. But here, I had one expansion battle this turn. This is the first time as well that I've rolled out Wind Guide. So it should be fun to have a look at that. So that was, I just did 2 wounds on some light infantries without the Wind Guide. Now it's up. And I did 1 wound on a heavy. So, you know, well worth a year's worth of research. Yeah, my scripting here is imperfect. I could have probably hit them in the back. I lose some archers. But I routed him. So Wind Guide is good if you have enough archers. This is probably not quite enough to be worth it, but it still... it increases their punching power a bit. And so yeah, that's one more expansion. I'm going to be doing a bit of little bits and pieces of expansion. Let me talk to you a bit about my grand strategy here. Is basically I want to hit Pangea. And I'm going to hit him with a lot of these guys here. So I have some, they have a map move of 18. And they have stealthy, but let's just look at their map move for a minute. They can't, unfortunately, get as far as Pangea. So I would need to move them first somewhere like that, or that. And then from there I can hit him. So that's more or less the plan. And I want them to be led by stealthy commanders and do stealthy stuff. So what I'm thinking to do is put a main army there to attack this province if it hasn't fallen to like Ulm or something. And then that army will be ready to surprise attack while armies, let's say there and there, will hit him, let's say there and there, or whatever. So I want to gear up to be able to do that. It won't be this turn, it won't be next turn, but maybe next turn I'll be poised. When I'm building up an army here, it's going to be a slow process to conquer that fort. I'm doing 3 forgings this turn. One will be a dwarven hammer. One will be from this little efficient guy. An eye of aiming for my blind man because it should give him an 8 precision boost up to 10, which will make him viable again as a battle mage. And then as my final forging, I will give my pretender some armor. And this mirror armor is pretty good for the early days. With my increase, with getting a good amount of these guys, it should be a big deal for increasing my research. So hopefully my research will start to bulb up. Also, of course, this one is able to produce mages now. So I'm going to grab some Harab Serifs. Lacking these guys has been a problem so far this game, and it's because I instead got a bunch of those cap-only ones so I can have a stockpile of them. And then over here, I think I'll do. This is basically another turn of guys who will pop the fort. I could be recruiting these spire horns to do it, but they will be useless later. Probably best to put some at least useful guys. Now I'll keep expanding to the south. It'll look like this. And this is a tricky province with cataphracts, so I'm in fact giving him some light infantry to help drop on the back. And then this turn I'm going to begin building an upgrade to this fortress. It still will be producing just scouts and generals, but this way I can produce both, whereas right now I'm pretty much just producing generals. Yeah, this is fine. So yeah, I'll see how much I can get down to the south. I'll probably go for this one. I didn't want to because it has a Devil's Number province, but I'll just own it and then not look at it anymore. So yeah, it's not too busy of a turn, but this is a part of the game I have fun with, which also means I spend too much time on it inefficiently. Grabbing a few of these guys. Basically the idea is as soon as I get a dud, one of these, they also have a leadership of 40, so she'll be in charge of carrying around some archers. So I might as well get some of my holy archers to get the precision bless. And this guy here needs to come home. I've been mulling whether I should send him to the capital or whether I should send him to get another batch of these defenders. And I think I will get another batch of defenders. New province after 2 turns. And actually, with that in mind, I might just be inefficient for resources here and grab some archers. Let's see how that looks. Well, the problem is it's the same number of troops, right? 3, 6, 8. Yeah, same number of troops, so I'll get some more infantry. I need to get some archers at some point, but this is fine. And yeah, what I'll do, okay, I'll build up, this might be my last turn of building up more guys there. Or maybe I'll shift over to this one, topping up this while my northern forts, this fort's coming online next turn as well. Then my northern forts can build up for war. So hopefully next turn I will have a countdown timer of how long until I can hit this guy. Pushing up to enchantment 3. Seeking Arrow will be a good thing to have when the war comes. If I have the right guys to use it, it'll be a surprise attack, and then just Strength of Giants as well. It's not a big deal. I probably won't grab a Revenant. Yeah, raised skeletons is going to be possibly useful. This is a useful thing to have. I see why I'm doing it. But yeah, my real life is busy right now, so I'm probably not thinking about this game as much as I should. And the downside of that will mean I'm kind of turtling for longer than I could. But let's say next turn I'll start moving, and then in 2 turns I'll position. Yeah, let me say on camera that I want to hit him in 3 turns from now. And that could work well as being the first episode of next time. So in any case, I'll see you in a second. Ciao. Hey guys, this is turn 17. It's a bit early for me, but I got very lucky with my site searching. First, let's view the one battle. So I'm attacking some cataphracts, if my frame rate ever survives. Cataphracts are like stronger than knights, so this is a bit of a tricky province. My attack closest did not even start to fly. They just hit the cataphracts. My attack rear, you can see over here, is hitting his generals. He has 3 regular generals and a priest. Priest is down, and I believe one of the generals is already down. But that's my front line. Unfortunately, my attack rear has retreated. My attack closest is taking out mostly out the cataphracts. There's 1 left. He's fleeing. And now the light infantry have hit my archers. And that's all my infantry fled. One of my generals. So that is New Calem routed. I did not win this battle, unfortunately, but these days with the leftover scraps of expansion, I can just hit it again next turn, so that's not a big deal. Let's take a look at what I found. So here is a copper idol with 1 air gem, and this mirror lake, 1 air gem and 2 water gems. So 4 gems here, plus this illusionist is going to be, with no fort, take 4 turns to recruit for an air mage, but he's stealthy. So give him some winged boots and he can join stealthy raiders. So he might be worth 4 turns at some point. The other one would be down here. Blasted Heath is 2 air gems, so that's up to 4 air gems, and this Iron Tomb is my other 2 useful gem types. So 8 gems, 6 of them very good. That's a major haul for me. And that is going to allow me to take my fancy new hammer and start a monthly ritual of a monthly forging of owl quills for a few turns. Site searching is going to hopefully be very strong. Send the god down to these hills, partially because they have no Dominion's candles. I'd like to get one. This guy will go here. This guy will go here. Yeah, look at this. I've also received another mage. Another 55% chance for the 3rd turn in a row, which is getting unlikely. And the new guy comes out. Same type again. Going to start looking in the woods. Troop movements are going to be an attempt to claim the same province again as I just mentioned, with one of these 2 generals. So looking at that. And then the other one will begin to... I'm going to start moving. I mean, it's turn 17. No one's attacked me. That's kind of unusual. But it's time for me to quit turtling, so I'm going to start bringing generals up into position. This one... I'm going to have one more turn of moving troops here. But this general will be done. He is going, I think, there. And this guy will come down with some final round of troops. And then he'll just move himself back, and he is a big, strong general. So he'll be useful as well. So we'll have one guy there, there, and there. I think I'll mostly drop them on this fort, ready to jump. Recruitment is gonna be pretty similar. A bunch more Raven Guards. One more Heralder. Not sure if I'll do another after that. These guys are coming along nicely. Right, it's just these two provinces. This one, reason why I'm sending up a guy here is I'm going to recruit, but not recruit a general. I'm going to grab a scout. And then down here I've been unsure if I should get a general or a scout, but I think I'll get a general. Yeah, I'll do another turn of... Another turn of these, and final general, then I'll switch over, I believe, to scouts down here. Well, no, next turn I'm going to get my fortress up so I can switch over to both. And a bit more gold is going to upgrade that fortress. Next turn I'm hoping to complete a... In fact, let me do this. Yeah, no, I'm hoping for a big trade next turn, where I get some gold and some other things, and that will be good. Because next turn I'd like to build a fort, a lab, and a temple. I want another temple because my dominion is starting to shrink a bit dangerously, so I'll grab a temple here, and a lab here is the idea. Which will take quite a bit of gold. And so I'll probably be tight on the budget otherwise. Yeah, the god has a fancy new mirror armor, so protection of 16, magic resistance 22, which is nice. And I'm giving 40 nature gems to Kinchi. 40 water gems. I'll let you go. Next turn I don't think I'll quite attack yet, but I will be very, very close, basically. Yep, see you guys in a second.
Hey, just wanted to say that I've changed this up a tiny bit. So I'm not, in fact, moving this general, and instead I am recruiting a bit differently, and this should mean a turn sooner that the war starts. So let's see the next turn.
Hey guys, it's turn 18. First, last turn of this episode, and probably last turn of peace for me. One little expansion battle, I'll show it to you, but this is all just... This whole situation is just pathetic. Oops. So, Flyers is somehow pretty bad against like Horse Tribe or any light cavalry, because I can't surround them as well because they're bigger somehow. So hitting the cavalry is not great, but at least I do take out the cavalry before I lose and run away. So that's twice I've hit that province. I still haven't won it, but this turn I will hit it a third time and hopefully finally win. Here. Yes, so there's one important development this turn which I'm going to show you momentarily, but first I'm going to get that one. Now here's what's happened. This is Helheim has jumped in, has been warring with Pangaea. I kind of feel like everyone's avoiding warring with me because they know I'm recording, which is an interesting turn of events, but not necessarily great for the recording. But now Helheim is there. This is the key province in his entire southern lands that Helheim's besieging. But I'm glad I'm ready to attack, because I don't really want to not attack soon. So what I will do is this particular army here is not going to attack him this turn, but it's going to attack this Indy. If it does well, it will be poised to attack next turn. And then I'll have these two military grade forces that will both jump him next turn, basically. I actually had the idea... Okay, so I misplayed a bit by putting... I should have put both of my generals in the same spot, but I did not do that. But it's fine, because what I can do is move a cap-only mage up to the battlefront and bring 10 guys, which will be enough to divide my forces roughly in half. So next turn I have definitely these two forces, hopefully also this one, ready to start causing ruckus. Also, my research is closing in on Call the Winds, which can be another fast raiding force, basically, when I can summon them up. And that won't be next turn, but it'll be the turn after, and this is why I'm getting Air 2s up near the front. I have a lot of site searching this turn, which is great. I have 4, in fact. Start to get some death from these two places, the forest and the swamp. A bit more air and earth from there and there. I traded all my water gems away for a big pile of, I mean, you can see that over here. So I got a big pile of death gems for when it comes time to make skull mentors. But I got a bit of gold extra, which will be nice, because this turn I should have enough gold to do 2 infrastructures. Temple and lab. And then with little scrappy bits, I mean, I'm tightening up everywhere, but I'm able to make it happen. Produce my first of these lovely guys, iron crafters. And I'll send him probably to my capital to increase my... They're the ones who can give me a discount on forging of earth stuff and also resource bonus. So I will likely send him to my capital. This fort has come online, so now I'm going to start making a bunch of scouts. Start finally scouting up the place. And that is more or less it. Next turn is when the fun begins, and next turn will also be next episode. So let's take a quick peek. This episode I haven't really done much in terms of expansion, but I went from 1 fort to 4, and I mean, I've probably been wasting my time, honestly. I've been a bit busy in my real life, but this is how I like to play the game. This is how I used to play the game, and luckily this particular game has given me a window to more or less spend 4 turns gathering my thoughts before war starts, and hopefully I won't be punished for it. So that's where I am. I also have much better gem income. Let's take a quick peek at that. Excuse me. Because that's another thing that's really upped, is this Air 7 here, and lots of 2s where there used to be 1s and 0s. And the income's solid. And now we ride to war. See you guys next episode.